Good morning, everyone. FuturestraderElite here, or Venderman with FuturestraderElite. Trying to get some things situated. Give it a second, minute or two for people to get on before we break into the chart. Try to look at some and break some things down for today. Hope everybody's doing well this morning, getting prepared to have a good day. Hopefully you can hear me and the stream's okay for right now. I know we had a little difficulty yesterday afternoon. My whole system froze up. I don't think it was so much YouTube as it was something going on with my computer, or maybe internet or something, because it was all kinds of things. NinjaTrader was froze. Only thing working was TradingView, and it was barely working. We got about, looks like about 12 minutes or so before the market opens. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the chart. Let's see here. Go ahead and jump in this chart. I'm going to hop this over to the 4-hour. You can see right now we've been consolidating up here in this 4-hour box on the 1 minute. Excuse me. So let's take a look at some things here. Zoom in a little bit. So you can see that right here we wicked out. We had a imbalance zone here. It filled quite a bit of it. We almost tagged this trend line up here, not quite. So we got this 4-hour bearish line, and we got this this 4-hour bullish line here. And as we're consolidating in this 4-hour zone, and we have this imbalance up here, this is looking good. We broke structure right back here since we're through this 4-hour zone. And so we're thinking, what we would be thinking is we're breaking above the 50 right here. On the 4-hour, we're above the golden pivot. So then we're going to take a look here at what this box is up here, this 4-hour zone. That's 998 to 25,008. And then we have the R1 pivot up there at 31. So to the top side, if they open up and push pretty hard, you know, maybe they push 100 points or a little better to get up here. If they open and try to take it to the downside, our 4-hour box is way down there. Say it's at 540 to 550. This one down here, and of course this candle closes at 9, and so then this will be a 4-hour zone low over here. And this little box that I have here, let's hop this over to the 5 minute. So what I'm looking at there on the 5, we got some imbalance down here, looking for price to return. So I'll also be looking at market open for them to possibly tag this box first. You know, if they can get down here with a hard push, may take this long down here. Could possibly, you know, if they want to protect this low down here, we could say something like 725 to 735 down here, possibly. I'll be looking first at this box, and then secondly, I'd be looking at this box here. Right now, the ATR is around 10. They're not doing a whole lot. And then, you know, we're at the top end of the range. We need to see if they're going to break this upper trend line or if they're going to reject that upper trend line. Let's pull up our data box real quick here. Prior open was $25,002, which is up here inside this precision entry zone. Prior high was 25,011, which is up there. Prior low is 350, which is way down. Prior close 711, which is right down here at the bottom of the screen. This dotted line here. So a couple things to think about pulling back here. Say they pull it to the downside, there's the possibility that they will sweep this area and tag that prior close, and plus you got the golden pivot there. So this whole lot of confluence here. If they want to protect the low, sweep the prior close, tag the golden pivot at 691 for a good bounce. And then to the upside, that's a lot of confluence. You know, they might, if they do get past this upper trend line, they could get up here to the prior high and the prior open, and it being both right there in that 4-hour zone. So we're looking at about 998 to 25,008. So, I mean, this could be a good push out of the open up here. Look for 100 points to the upside, maybe look for 100 points to the downside, depending on which way they move. Well, we're currently at 888. If they got down to the golden pivot, that'd be almost 200 points out of the open to the downside, but about 100 to the upside. Just some food for thought there. And what I'll be looking at here at the open, we have about 5 minutes, just over 5, I believe. And we'll be ready to see if we can get in on some action here. If you're looking for evals, you can use code FTE at Bullinox or Trade Day for their current discount. I know Bullinox is 89% off right now. Really cheap up front, had to pay activation on the back end. And then Trade Day, I believe, is around 30%. I believe no activation fee. It's a little more up front, I think, but then no activation, and then daily payouts once you get them where they need to be. Still just chopping around. I'm gonna hop mine down here to the 1 minute. If you want to learn more about the precision entry zones and imbalance zones and structure, risk management, and everything that goes into that, Got my courses over, my precision trading course over at gumroad.com. Just look up FuturestraderElite at gumroad.com. There's indicators for the Trading View and for NinjaTrader 8. We have the kill zone indicator, which is currently on the bottom of my chart. There's a bundle that has support and resistance lines with a weighted MACD and buy sell signals for both Trading View and NinjaTrader, and then the kill zone is a separate indicator. This kill zone indicator down here, these boxes inside this are my precision entry zone boxes. They can be adjusted. You see when the crossover happens inside the box, it glows like this versus just a standard green dot. And then the same thing happens on the red side on a crossover to downside. And when everything lines up the way you like on the chart, that's just another confirmation that there's could be an early reversal signal. It's always about having as much information as possible, much confluence as possible. Currently at 860, we got about just over a minute before the market opens. I kind of want to test this area here. That's I'm not going to do it. I was going to front end load right here, but I'll just wait until the market opens and see what happens. Anybody has any questions, just throw them in the chat. Hope everybody's about ready. We got about 30 seconds left before the market opens. I think I'm going to throw me a sell up here. And then I think that I'm going to throw me a sell down here. I mean a buy. See what kind of action we get at the open here. 2 seconds, about to open. After they put in a 15-minute candle, we will mark that out, see what the opening range is. Oh, now they're on the 4-hour trend line. I'm not going to short at the trend line just yet because of it being the open here. You know, if the market had been open a little while and it was grinding up that way, or it happened, but not in the first 15 minutes. I'm not doing that today. Nothing wrong with doing it. It's just a little more high risk at the very beginning of the open of the market there. Although, I mean, it could sweep it like it is so far and push this all the way back down here. I mean, it can happen. Just depends on your risk management. What is that? The prior open and prior high. The prior open and prior high are all up here at this 4-hour zone. I was kind of looking forward for them to open this and maybe push all the way up there, get a lot of confluence there to reject, and then reject hard. But it looks like the trend line might do the trick. So we'll see here in a minute. Also had that blue line there is at 950. We put that on there last week when we were streaming. Has been a key level when it was up in this area. It was a key level to bounce off of last week, and then that's a key level to reject off of it ever since it's been under it. So purple line down here, prior close, golden pivot 691. What I'd like to see is them pick up here, sweep this box, or tag it, and come back down to maybe this box. They're having a pretty hard time here trying to get above that 4-hour trend line. I think they can do it though. They got room to expand on the indicator. So look down here at this 1 minute. This thing can overextend up into this 80 from where it is now, which could push it up here easily. The struggle here. There for a minute, I thought I was on a 5-minute chart, seeing as it didn't seem like candles were going anywhere. Already more than 100 points in the so far in the move at the open. It's like 130. Try and stay patient here. That's kind of what we was looking for right there, but up out of this area. So, you know, they come down, they tagged a 50 EMA right there and automatically sucked up real fast. See if they got what it takes to keep pushing this down. I'm not going to chase anything out of the gate. Not ever going to chase anything anyway. Just sit on the hands for now. It's a whole lot of consolidating it did here in this 4-hour area. That's a pretty good run up right here in pre-market. The you know, if they can get back above 25,000, we could maybe get bullish on something there, but I'll worry about that. We'll look at a higher time frame chart if they get above 25 and stay. Look at the structure again. Excuse me. ATR is up around 45, but it sure ain't moving around like that. At least it don't look like it is price action wise. Although the ATR might not be caught up to the chart. This right here is where people go wrong. Hadn't really nothing. It hadn't showed us anything really worth taking just yet, and people can't wait. They feel like they need to be in the trade. You know, there could have been a trade plan built around the sweep of this 4-hour trend line and then this 950 level, but then it gets up here to about 970. You know, I mean, could have thought about trying to go short at the 950 level because it's been one of them areas. But had you went, you know, you'd have to have a stop 20 points or beyond, or it just wouldn't end up stopping you out if you went short at the tap of the 950. Excuse me. Could be one of them deals where it comes down here and taps this box and bounces, and then it don't pick me up like it does sometimes. But if I were gonna say dollar cost average into this trade, I don't want picked up at the top of the box. I want picked up at the bottom, maybe even a sweep of the box. That way, if I want a dollar cost average in, I can give myself some room right here in case it goes a little deeper. You know, could possibly take his short at the break of this wick here down into that area. Break a structure to the downside. If this cracks here, it might find a little momentum for a push harder down there, considering we had this run up and this consolidation. Or they might protect this low just like that and bounce it the other way. I don't believe. I think we still got some expansion to go down here. Maybe I can get tagged out of 5 and then let 5 ride. No, I don't want to do that. Typically, you'd want to see this break a structure here, and then maybe get a wick, you know, the next candle up to retest. Of course, I jumped in it ahead of time. And then this is what happens right here. You get this candle going that way, put you in the red. Give it just a little bit of time to breathe here, because it makes more sense for this to come on down and tag this box. There's nothing significant about this low right here for them not to break this and come down here. Nice. I'm gonna go and protect myself here just in case. I don't really want to hold 10, so protect myself at the break even. I'll move it just ahead a little bit. Give it some time to breathe. Also don't want that there. I'd rather get covered, say, maybe at the top side of this box. But we're going to have to take this out. 835. We take that 835 out right here. We should get a pretty quick push to this area right here, this imbalance zone. Our Pez box. Something like that there. As long as it don't suck up and push. Keep that tight. Lock in the gains. I should have gave it more room to breathe there, but you know, I'd rather just lock it in. So then I'll take this one off, because if we do come down here, I still think we're gonna get this push here, and I want to be able to pick it up, maybe the sweep of the box. I don't know though. See, I'm worried if they sweep this box, then they might push to this box, and then they might want to tag this prior close and this golden pivot, and that's going to be too much of a range for me to be trying to dollar cost average in. So I might, if I get swept here, I might either have to stop out and get back in down here, or maybe if it were to bounce out of this zone, maybe follow it tight with a stop and lock in maybe a little bit, 5, 10, 15, 20 points. Now we're in over sold territory. You can see this indicator down here starting to curve on this one. On the 2-minute chart, it's looking the same. You know, they could find the way they suck that up right there. They could push here. We'll see. Still under the 50 EMA though, so they could push this in a couple candles and tap this line again as a retest for another rejection. So many possibilities on the table. You just got to pick the ones that make the most sense. The ones that have the most confluence. We snapped that 835 on that wick like I was talking about, and automatically wick down to 813 or so. It's a fast move. And now look at this couple candle push. We'll see what they do here. We're going to find rejection up here at this trend line. That was a pretty hard push back down out of that area. I'm going to hop this over to the higher time. Let's go look at a 15-minute real quick. That way we can put a box in. Where's our opening candle? That one right there. Looks like a wick. The 15-minute candle. $9.72, $8.36. Pop this back to the 1 minute. So let's say that, okay, see they come up here, they drove it back up, tagged the trend line, barely swept it a little bit, and a big drop. I mean, that was a 40-point move or better right there. About 40. Yeah, just over 40. So we walk it up, tag the trend line. I was thinking if they kept trying to walk us up, we got to watch for them to break out of the opening range. But as soon as they would tag this area up here, which I think will be a short zone, unless they find a lot of buyers, a lot of legs under it, and can push it. Now, if they reject there, you know, high day right there so far, lower high already at the trend line. And we got the low of the day, or of the open, and then lower low. So we have to be thinking if they break out of the bottom side of this range, again, it's 835. They sucked it up last time, but 835, then we take out that wick. It's 812. You know, they could definitely, if they can break out of the bottom of the zone and they can, or out of the range up here, they could definitely push down in all this area right here for certain. It could happen. And looking back to the left, I mean, this box right here, this whole area right here, will be something worth watching if they can break out of the range box. Then the question will be, if they do break out of the bottom, is it worth taking the short trade and try to, I like simultaneous trades, you know, like get in short and then cover and enter, say in this box all in one whole trade. They don't work every day like that, but I like them when they do. All right, so we got the buy signal on the 1 minute, but not on the 2 minute. Although it's close, probably if this candle goes up and closes on the 2 minute, it'll put in a buy signal more than likely. We come down on the 5 minute chart and tag the 50 EMA. That would have been this move back here when it come down at it kind of swept the 50 EMA on the 5-minute and then bounced. So got to break a structure here with all these wicks if they can push and close, and we got room to expand on the indicator. Got about a minute left on the 2-minute chart. It looks like it's going to close and put in the buy signal if they keep it up. So I'm going to come back here. You know, if they put the buy signal in on the 2-minute, I might take the trade long in about 20 seconds if it throws the signal. Maybe go long and then cover some out right here in case it just taps that, and then up here goes short. All right, it threw the buy signal on the 2-minute. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to sell 2 there, and I want to sell 2 right there, and then I want to sell 1 there, there, something like that. See if we can get this push. Pretty steep pullback there. See if we can get this push. Excuse me. If we can get this push right here and tag that out, it'll drop my average down into here somewhere. Just don't know if it's going to happen. ATR is still around 25. in at 921. If they can pop up here and tag that, it'll be about 5 points on 10. Leave me 5 for maybe a push up. They want to push this harder, possibly. A lot of fighting going on right here. You know, and really, it may try to come down here and tag that 50 EMA right there and suck back up. I was just thinking, it wicked out just as I was thinking, you know, they might try to come down there and tag that 50 EMA and then bounce, but they might even try to push it down, who knows. There we go. Nice. That's what we was looking for. Yeah, that excuse me. I'm guessing you're talking about this red dot down here. It is a early confirmation of a reversal is what it really is. That's not a sell or buy signal. It's early confirmation for reversal, but excuse me. I'm looking at, even though them are in, they're not, that don't always mean it's going to be correct. That's why I was watching, explaining through this chart here on what I was looking at. Because, I mean, there's times when everything can look really bearish on the indicators and you get a reaction like this. It was about the way everything was setting up more so than the indicator. You know, when we got over here, that dot, that signal dot is on this candle here, but as we was chopping here, this was trying to curl up down here. Don't get me wrong, I mean, and I still look for plays with this early confirmation, but a lot of times they'll be later in the day. Like even this one back here, this red dot wasn't inside the box, so it ain't glowing, but you know, that was at the close of this candle at 906, and it, you know, 10 points, 10, 12 points max is all you got here wicked out. And if somebody were to use that as a signal, they could have caught all this right here, depending on where they risked their stop at. I was really hoping for this to push on that run just right there and tag that before they got some kind of reversal. Now see that this indicator's up here in this overbought zone now, and we're getting close to this confluence, prior high, prior close, whatever all this is up there. I can't never keep up. Yeah, prior high, prior open are both up here in this 4-hour zone. So I'm thinking, you know, they push this up, maybe try to sweep this before they get this death candle. And I feel that way because, you know, on the 1 minute and the 2 minute, the kill zone's almost in the overbought territory, almost to 80. And then on the 5 minute, it's between I think 40 and 60 right now. Now what do we got going on here? Have you made any trades today, Rich? You was talking about this red dot. Another thing is, say that you had to buy a sell signal as well as the kill zone, and say you had a sell signal line up with that dot, you know, that might make a bigger difference, you know, especially on if you got the sell signal on the 1 and 2 minute at the same time and it lined up with the crossover here. That'd be enough confluence typically for me to take something short, or even in the long side, as long as everything on the chart was looking all right. You know, I'd have to be something like, if it's got up here and it threw in a sell signal, a buy signal with a crossover on the kill zone, I don't know that I'd take it long knowing that all this is right here. Over traded on one. You can get it back. I know you can. And see, we're still trading inside that opening range, so the only question I have about having my order set up here at the top and all this confluence is one of two things could happen. We'll break out of the range box and sweep this area and get a rejection, or we could break out of the top of this range box and pierce through all that. So, although that's at a whole number as well, 25,000's up there, so. Yeah, that's one of the tough ones when it comes to trading. I've lived through it myself. And it just takes time, you know. And still, there's days when I'm in trades I shouldn't be in, and I should probably just get up and walk away from the computer, but I find myself doing something stupid, and then I end up having something stupid happen to my account usually. Not as bad as it used to be. I've gotten really, really patient and laid back with all this. But I remember having the fever of always needing to be in a trade. I used to have the fever so bad I was always in the market. It seemed like no matter what, I was trading a lot. And now I just, now I don't even really care. I just get on here. And when the market opens, you know, I might trade a little bit in pre-market if the ATR is okay. And and it looks like there's a good setup, but and I do a little trading in the evening sometimes when it first opens. Sometimes. I'd prefer to just trade this market though, for the most part. Kind of weary of this trade here with my order sitting up there like that, but it makes sense that even if they were to try to break out here, it seems like we will get some kind of rejection reaction. Four-hour pez zone, 25,000 whole number, prior high and prior open, I think is what these are up here. I guess I should have rotated accounts. I'll just try to scalp out of some of this. You know, it seems like if they try to push through this and we break 25 and hold, I could see them pushing this to our next zone up top. Although every resistance overhead is going to be kind of heavy because we're in such a bearish downtrend right now. You know, I think they pick one up. I put this cover down here thinking, you know, maybe they're going to retest the top of this range box. And then I'll put a stop in because that way I don't pick them all up at one time and I'll at least lock a little bit. Pennies. I just don't want to wreck this account because I'm already up and I'm copy trading. And that's to even think if we don't get the rejection out of this area up here, a hard rejection, you know, they could come down here. Let me move that. They could come down here, retest the range, opening range, and then push this higher. You know, and then you have, that'd be a break of structure retest down here plus opening range retest to the box for a bounce. And the 9 EMAs right there, just passed it a little bit. Although the kill zones, they're up there. They're all close to 80, 1, 2, and 5 minute. And so this is one of them areas right here where this candle's about to close right now. A lot of times, you know, when we get this run up, some of the trades I've been taking, especially close to certain zones, I'll buy at the close of that candle if it closes red. But I prefer it if this is crossed over on the kill zone at the same time, kind of like what we was talking about back here. It's still a little early in the day though. It's only 9:12, so you know, mid-morning or something, sometimes that trade don't quite work out Although a lot of times you can get at least 5 points, even if it don't work in your favor the way you want. A lot of times it'll spit out 5 points at the close of the candle. And then a lot of time, well, that one probably did there at the close. 989, 984, not quite. Almost though. Yeah, that's what's here. This orb box right here, this big one. I've been throwing the 15-minute on now, I think for a couple weeks now, just to help track other stuff and see how it plays and ties with the 4-hour zones and the precision entry zones and the imbalance zones and everything else. Just an extra puzzle piece, really. I don't necessarily trade it all the time, but I've been drawing it on every morning if I remember to. So we got that rejection there. Look at that. They retested. That's a break of structure retest right here, and retested the orb. And then they push up. I mean, there's, what is that? That's 970. 37 points right there. Just a few minutes. Now that's a nasty rejection out of there. See if that follows through down here somewhere. Although it could follow through and not get much. Well, yeah, I guess that's quite a bit. We're at 972. Let's take a box and put us a box here for a second. Say somewhere right down in here. Sweep at 50 and tag that. Instead of come down here, we'll protect these lows here. You know, higher low there, higher. All these are higher, and then this one barely put in a little lower low there. But look at something real quick on the 5-minute chart. Well, the 5-minute chart pretty ugly right now at the open. Yeah, they are. Hop this over a 15-minute real quick and look at this again on a bigger time frame. So say we do break out above 25,000. We got this 4-hour box up here. Looks like it's 85 to 95. Look at this rejection out of that zone. That's a huge drop, huge sell-off out of that. And then the same thing back here. We hit into that zone right over here. Big rejection. Damn, they might not even be able to get by that R1 pivot up there. We'll see. They sure are grinding this up though this morning. How's the, you say you still trade using SMM? That work, was that working out good for you? R1 pivot. Could get rejection up here, looking at that 15-minute chart. It's hard for me to try to think about buying along when the kill zone's way overbought, you know, because it don't take, once you get up into the 80% area, it's just, it can hang out in that area and still keep grinding up, but it's hard to choose to try to get into a long. Be better off to look for some kind of pullback. And this thing's really extended away from the 50 EMA. Looking at 100 points above it, 50. You know, they might make a push here. Even though there's not much expansion on the momentum indicator, they could still push this up to that next 4-hour zone. I think if they do, I want to try to short it up there maybe. Yeah, it's easy to do. Get caught up at the top. Been there a time or two myself. They're thinking hard up here about this rejection, it looks like. Couple doji candles up there. The fact that it stopped shy of the precision entry zone and is doing this number here makes me think they're going to try to drive this on up, which means they might be slow grinding and to the upside, even though it's overbought pretty heavy. Yeah, I'm looking, I'm watching, I want to see this is an area where initially, I'll buy on the close of the first red candle, but the way this is acting, I mean, they could have initial rejection here, and whereas typically you think we might get a rejection of 50 plus points or better out of this setup, the way they held here and pushed makes me wonder if maybe we do get a red candle. Maybe we do get a red candle and then they only drop it down, to the 9 or something. Not as much as we would think, and then they turn around and push this. They act like they want to push this. This is not as hard of a rejection as what we should have seen coming out of that area when we was looking on the 15-minute chart. Especially after that huge move down out of this area, you would think that this candle here, that closed red, this next one open, you think that thing would already be down here at the R1 pivot, scooting to the downside. So, see, they ain't tricking me into this right now. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't see, I mean, the way they're pushing this at the moment, I'm looking more like, hey, the top of this imbalance zone is at 182. I'm at 70 points away or whatever. I mean, the problem is we can talk about this all day and be watching it, and then the move actually happened and we never traded it. But at the same time, it's because I can't necessarily get into a trade like this. I mean, look at the run it's already had. Why would I buy up here where it's at? Especially, it'd be different if you could see the momentum coming into the chart, and I don't see anything like that. It's slow grinding, and the ATR is 23 on the 1 minute. The candle's moving like it's 8 on the ATR. So it feels kind of like a trap unless this is a sweep. They swept out of this 4-hour zone and got up here. Well, let's look. Let's move this. Let's hop back to the 15-minute chart and look at something. Because there could be something going on right where it's at. No, I mean, we come back here. That's our price line, this little white line here, moving around. We're in the middle of this big candle here. Pushed off that level back here. I think it's just the overhead resistance. It's going to have to fight for everything at once. There's no doubt. It's going to have to fight for it. And so, whereas it might be going up here to this next 4-hour zone, it just might not do it straight away. or we could actually find rejection from where we're at between here and that box anywhere, to be honest. And that's why I can't take it long right here. Huge 15-minute candle though. Huge candle. Let's get back over the 1 minute. I just can't do it. Hate that I missed such a move, but it's part of it. And instead of having FOMO, you got to have JOMO, the joy of missing out. Just look at it completely different. It's kind of like if I sit here and I think, well, I should be trading. Well, I'm not going to, because about the time I get in it, we'll be buying at the top. And then I'm trading out of fear of missing out. But now if I sit here on my hands and I watch a death candle come in 50 or 100 points, I'll have the joy of missing out because I didn't buy it at the top and then catch a death candle. Tricky, that's for sure. You didn't buy the revert. You didn't try to go short at 100, did you? No, I know you didn't. Hopefully you're just watching. You're working on under trading. Believe it or not, that'll bring a whole lot more peace and sanity to your mind. To be doing some under trading. ATR is at 17, so you know if the ATR keeps dropping it off and it gets low, then it's going to get really boring and really choppy probably. You know, they could, come down here and tag this 4-hour zone right here, and what if they just start chopping around, building a base for another leg higher? They sure are eating into that imbalance zone though, that's for sure. Let's grab us a line here. Throw us something. Throw us a line here. Oh, say from right there to right there. And then let's throw one from here to there. Something like that. It looks like. Can't tell with all the where them wicks are at. It looks close enough though. Yeah, it's what I'm in right now, is some Bull and Ox funded that I already got red, doing something stupid in pre-market, I think is what I did. Yeah, I hadn't traded these when the market opened. I was in the evals. So I need to try to recoup that, or at least keep my losses tight if I take any more. I thought about not even trading them again, but because at one point these were, I think, 250 in the red this morning, and I got them back to 100 and thought maybe I'll just leave them alone, trade some evals. You know, I'm just trying to go for base hits, so I'm copy trading again. I got away from using the copy trader, but I'm basically trying to go for nothing but base hits. Base hits, they add up and take a payout. That's considered a home run. I ain't trying to get no home runs during the day. I mean, if it, well, I shouldn't say it, not in no funded account. If I'm in an eval, like I got one eval that I might try to pass today, maybe, and I might try to go for some home runs in that just to get it passed in one day. Still got a ways to go though. Still need to put a little over 2K in that one, I think. I have to go back and find it. I might not even be connected to them yet. Got too many tabs open. I can't see everything at one time. That's excellent, and I don't blame you. I mean, I would be too. You know, 300 to 230, especially just even a couple $100, especially in a funded account. If you can just maintain something like that, that's great. And not necessarily every day, you know, maybe one day you got 200, next day you got 300, the next day you got 150, next day you got 420. I mean, it ain't got to be exactly the same, but you think this might be a good bounce zone? Maybe. I'm not too sure that I'm inclined to go long up here just yet. I might not be inclined to go long at all and just wait for some short play to set up, but we'll see. Unless I'm gonna maybe start scalping, you know, long 5, 10, 15 points maybe. Pez and Trendline. What do we have? Overhead one? I don't see. I see a trend line up there. It's a high time frame trend line too. If you're talking about this trend line up here, I would maybe be thinking about, I don't know what I'm going to be thinking about. Of course, if they get up here to this PEZ zone, yeah, I'm going to be thinking, maybe a short out of the zone, but it really depends on what it looks like when it gets there. Now, if they keep this mess up and slow grind this up there, kind of like they did under this box here, and we talked through that. I was thinking this was going to break down, and it didn't. We talked through that and got this push, and now here we are up here. So it really depends on what the market looks like when we get up here. If they put a big green candle, oh yeah, you talking about my 1 minute trend lines? Yeah, I just put them on there as guidance. I don't necessarily take trades based on them, depending on the type of day. You know, considering we started back here, we got a bounce here, and this drive up. You could think third tap we might get a bounce, but it's the 1 minute, so you got to tread lightly with that. But yeah, say we got some momentum here off of this line, and they break a structure continuation right here above this high, and they got up to this box fast, you know, like big candle, not none of these 1 minute candles that are 10 points big or 15, 5, 10, 15, but they throw in a big green candle, something like this back here. You know, the quicker it gets to the zone, the better it is for first reaction short. That's all there is to it. Them slow grinds, if it gets up there and it's just under it and it's been slow grinding, then there's a good possibility they push through it or sweep it. You know, now we got this other little blue trend line down here, and we got the R1 pivot is right here with it, and the 50 EMA all right here. That 1 minute might make a little more sense because of these other confluences there. Kill zone, downhill on the 1 minute, the 2 minutes rolling over, the 5 minutes rolling over, but you know, we got to break below 62, 60, 63, 62, 63, take out these wicks here on these dojis. And if you do, you might get a quick reaction down there for a bounce. Could get a quick reaction and then bounce out of this area. Quick bounce back up for another leg down. We got a from 37. Let's see here. We've got some imbalance from about right there to about right there in the 5 minute chart. So all right, that's even more confluence because that's imbalance in the 5 minute chart, and the bottom of that box lands right here where all this is about tied together. Did I get that right? 37. Let me look. About 36.75. It's close enough, so. And now this is getting drained down to the oversold. So yeah, if we get this pop down, you can get a bounce out of here. I kind of like the idea that all that's there. Kind of like a 5 minute imbalance. 50 EMA, R1 pivot. Trend line. That trend line there is kind of like okay, yeah, so we're in the same vicinity. I was a couple point, I'm at 37, so, or no, yeah, 35, 36, 37. I mean, this is a zone here that is worth looking at for the long. And then the trend line's more of a 2 minute trend line, maybe 3 minute now, or better. Looking at my 2 minute chart, it looks like it's about right. See that they ain't it's kind of like it was yet. I think it was yesterday. They just kept holding price. Not just yesterday, but even like some days last week, they'd get these drives up, and these pullback legs would slow grind, maybe not even come back as far as this one has, and then keep pushing, and it'd be slow pullback and then push up. It's hard to believe in a pattern like that when the overall trend is so bearish. If this was if NQ was an uptrend, bullish, that'd be a different story. But trades that would normally work in an uptrend won't necessarily work the same in a downtrend and vice versa. I'm going to pause myself for just a second. I'll be right back on. All right, I'm back. I think when I left, I said I'm going to pause myself. I meant I'm going to mute myself. Had to go take care of the animals before they get restless and start talking to us in the background. I see we're down here in this box we put in. Looks like it's trying to hold a little bit. to 50. We're going to get a bounce play out of there. It's moving awfully slow, isn't it? I am going to I just don't know. Let me go back and look at something on the 5 minute real quick. I don't know, maybe. One break of structure there on 1 minute. Getting a little push. Don't know if they have enough legs under it though. I'm gonna take one right here. Well, I'm glad my quantity was set right. I switch back over to the eval. I can't be trading them funded bull and ox in this crap. So now, I mean, if we do get this push, we need to be thinking, you know, take profit wise. I think that, let's see here. I'll try and take profit there. I'll buy one more there. Maybe two more. I don't believe this right here. And at 61. Could be though. Could be that they want to take this on down, or you know, they just come down and retest the 50 again. You know, they should at least, even if they are going to try to take us down, a lot of times they'll come back and tag. There's a wick on this green candle right here. That's where this order's at, on that wick. A lot of times you'll see these candles return and tag on this 1 minute chart. Nice. I'm going to throw a stop in here. See what we get here. I don't know if you've ever been on before while I was talking about it, but I talk about these pullbacks and these wicks all the time. If I think about it while I'm live, in case you had never really paid attention to it, but especially on a 1 minute chart, even in an uptrend or downtrend, on the trade, a lot of times you get these candles like this. Sometimes, even if they want to continue down, they'll find it might not be the very next candle, but they'll grab one of them candles, will typically come up and fill that imbalance on that chart so that there's not any gap there. I've noticed that a lot. Golly, I guess maybe I should have stayed in my funded account. The trade wasn't worth it. Kind of push are they going to try to do? Get up there and take the high out. I think it might just be a couple of us on here today. Not as many people been on it, don't look like. Come on, take that high out. Get it. There's a buy signal on the 1 minute. What about the 2 minute? It's not going to throw a buy signal because the EMA is already lined up. Originally, I had my order set at 113, and or no, I think I had it at 111, but I'm going to give it a little room to breathe here and see what happens. That 1 minute candle was at 98 on the buy signal. You can typically look for a lot of times 10 points, anywhere between 5 and 15 on them signals a lot of times, if everything else is looking good on the chart. So although I've seen these 1 minute signals fly on this chart and be the start of a 100-point move or better. Not necessarily a straight up move, but a 100-point move nonetheless. What might they try to do here? Break a structure here they could retest. It's a base hit though, so I need to follow this tight. I give them more breathing room if they can get up here and crack 130. Sorry, girl. Forgot that I left you out there. Y'all going somewhere. If we can crack the 130 level there with a decent candle, then you know, we got to target this high here. If they need to crack 130 first, but if they can crack that and then tackle that 146, 147 area, we could see a decent push here maybe. Not a lot of room for expansion on the momentum indicator, but you know, we could get sideways on it, overbought like this here, because it was in the 80 when this move started down here. 977 to 140. I mean, it could. Nice. Good job. I like to see that. Let's get it back, get it back. Right here at that 130. They need to take it out if they want to move. If they don't reject, if they can break this 130 pretty good with a decent candle, they'll tackle that 146 pretty fast probably. The way it's trending, it's like we're going to see one of them big pushes right here. And my order's probably too low. They'll probably wick up there and tag it. Try and give as much room as I can to breathe. It's not too shabby. One micro up 160 bucks. It's when I do stuff like this, I switched into that eval when I kicked myself thinking, well, I was going to trade my fundings out of this area, but I didn't 100% like it as far as risk management with the funded account as I would at eval. It happens. The key is that we put the trade plan together down there way before it happened. On my fundeds I do, yes. I just trade micros on my fundeds, and then because I'm trading micros, I just been on my funded, I've been doing it across the board. I do trade NQ a little bit, like on the eval side, because I'm willing to put up a little more risk, especially if I'm trying to pass them in a day or two. But yeah, I pretty much, the risk management is easier to control trading micros than it is with NQ. Yeah. So they took the high out. I'm going to move this on up because I'm not giving that back. I gave it enough time to breathe. I want to lock in what I can, so there it is. That was a nice trade right there. Like sometimes in the afternoons and stuff, I'll trade NQ when I'm not streaming, usually just trying to pass evals and stuff, or get a decent lick in if the move sets up, but other than that, I pretty much dropped to micros at the beginning of the year. I think it was as soon as January hit, I was trying to roll out a new trade rules and stuff for myself, and I figured, well, I'm gonna step away from that. There's better risk management with this, and then I started trading MNQ more often, and then I was trading MGC quite a bit. And I'll still trade gold, but it's been so volatile that prop firms keep banning it for periods of time, and I ain't been able to keep up, so I hadn't even been watching it as much as I was. Or I watch it every day, but I haven't been marking the chart up and following it with trade plans and all that the way I was doing. Man, I think we had it on the money down here. coming down. We put this plan together before it even shaped up, and look at the move we got. Nice, nice, nice. No, I do not. I think I might have looked at YM once, maybe a long time ago. And then I just looked at CL for the first time yesterday because it's one of the things we can trade inside that Ninja Trader competition. And I messed around with that. And boy, I tell you what, you can get ate up in a heartbeat. I'm not familiar enough with it and reading the chart and, you know, drawing it out. I didn't even really try to draw it out that much. I guess I was pretty much gambling with that competition account. I'm not going to lie. I guess I need to maybe trade that today, that account. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Swept the high, and they said, we're going back down. You do. What are your fair value gaps on a 1 minute chart? Or what? I think they are. No. There's one on the 5 minute, ain't there? So you're looking at this down here, right here. Yeah, I see what you got going on. On the 5 minute, there's one from about 68 to 79 or 80. So yeah, that could be another thing there to look at. Let's draw it on there. So let's say something like that. 50 EMA coming into the top, coming out of it. Sweep the trend line, tag to 50, sweep to 50. See, this is we bounced. Could be one of the more deals. You get a pullback and it sweeps the 50 by 10, 15 points like it likes to do. Scares everybody, traps them. Takes out anybody following the 50 EMA with a stop. Go stop hunting. Excuse me, man. Well, let's have a look here. So let's just say that the low is there. Let's grab the fibs and see what they're doing. All right, so look at that. Look at that, Rich. The 23.6 lands right on the 50 in the top of that box. 50%, man, what that'll pull us back to, oh, I don't know, a lot. 986. Wow. Even better, the 61.8. 61.8 lands down there around that 950 line. That's been a trigger for 2 weeks now, it seems like. It's just amazing how you take all the knowledge that you can and all the things that you've learned, put it all together, and then throw the fibs on, and that's just another confluence, that it could be a bounce there. I mean, the 23.6, 38.2, the 50, and the 61.8, I mean, they're usually all the ones that I would pay attention to if I'm pulling fibs. Of course, I mean, I pay attention to the 76.2 or whatever it is, but when you're in I mean, this is a good little uptrend here. We got 1 now, 2, 3. It could, if it bounced there, it'd be 4. And look, I mean, the 38.2 is at the pivot there, R1. So lots and lots of things to do. And then if they really wanted to do something, they could pull us back to this 4-hour zone, the prior high and open down here inside this 4-hour zone, and then and sweep it in the 50s right there. You got this, man. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Now, don't just be taking trades to be taking them. Remember, JOMO. Grinding. This is I'll tell you what, though. Let me look at this real quick. Let's take a line. Let's take a line and go from, say, right there to there. This is could be an inverse W right here. And look at that. Goes through our box. So if this drops, break this neck line. Drop this neckline. Let's see. Grab another line. We're going to say this one here started at about right there. Come down. Put this right in there. Wow, that'd be good. Yeah, I mean, measurably, you could think that 50% fib was down here under this, sweeping this. And that's about the measured move there for, say, this inverse W breaks and you get that leg down on the W. Same as the W we had yesterday when we broke to the upside, except this is going to be inverse. But you're going to have to break the neckline. You're going to have to take out this low at 35. If you break this neckline, you'll probably get a push to 35, pretty decent push, or 45. And if you get a hard candle here and you break 35, you need to expect to end up down here somewhere, more than likely. Oh, somebody's shorting. Nice. Maybe I need to do a little less talking and more trading, huh? I find myself more or less, I guess, trying to teach and explain my process than I actually do trading when I'm streaming. And try and explain the way my mind works. Ooh, on Manny's. Oh, you say that it's in evals though, right? I got you. So you're the same way. Minis on the evals. If you are going to do them, yeah, that's smart. That's what it's all about, man. I appreciate it. I try. I see a lot of things when I look at the chart. There's so many things to pay attention to. I see we got, I don't know what to do here in this area. We talked about the bounce, you know, the sweep of the 50 into that box and then get the bounce, but they could get the break of this neckline and turn this down some. So we are oversold pretty heavy on the indicators. So, you know, I don't like the risk to reward right this second to go long or short, because it could really go. The fact that the 1 minute is oversold pretty good, really need the 2 minutes not. So I mean, this could expand down some more before it finds a leg up. Yeah, it's definitely hit on the 1 minute for sure, pretty good. But there's on the 2 minute, there's a lot of room to expand. Of course, there is on the 5 minute right now, because the 5 minute one moves a little slower. Especially the only way to get the 5 minute to catch up good is for a death candle to be put in. And looky there, got that bounce. Got that bounce. Yeah, you can make a whole lot more sound decisions by planning on a higher time frame and just executing on the 1 minute than trying to trade the 1 minute chart by itself. Even the 5 minute can help out a whole lot. Can kind of smooth things out as far as the thinking on the 1 minute. I like to use the 4 and the 1 and the 15 minute, the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, and then I as well look at some things on the 5 minute while we're trading the 1 minute. You know, we almost, this is like a double top here too, so that's something to think about. It's not, you know, dead on, but this is a double top. It really looks like a double top on the 5 minute, or pretty close to it. So you got to think that's double top, and then you got the risk of a inverse W here close to the neckline. I just don't know how much I feel this is going to push back up. Although if it does push back up, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, head and shoulders in play if it were to come back up here and we get another push down. And then we're still probably practically the same neckline. It's just a head and shoulders now instead of inverse W. Yeah, I try to look at all that, take that into account as well, the higher highs, higher lows, and vice versa. Dealing with NQ though, it's not like a priority thing for me unless we are 100% like pretty much in an uptrend. On the high time frame, I'll look into that. Look at that a little more than I do in the bearish bias trend that we're in now. Rich, what's your Discord handle? Aren't you in Discord? I'm sitting here. Thought process is about the same. I'm kind of thinking that as well with the 50 EMA. I'm trying to just watch closely here because it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to pull a leg up here. Maybe not necessarily come up as high and put in that shoulder as I am thinking, okay, part of me thinks, somewhere right in here, say the 109 to 110 area, makes me wonder if we're going to get a push up into here and then another leg down, put in a lower high here and then a lower low. We may not get it, but I was looking back here. I mean, this would have been ideal right here. This red candle. We had this push up off this line, this 50, this leg, and this goes back to playing the first red candle close, buying in, and it had the dot thrown in right there. That'd have been a perfect short. And of course, it's easy to look at now. It's left at a chart, but that's why I started taking these trades because it happens so often. And, that's right around, that was at 10:05. So, close the candle about 139, 140. It only went up a couple points, 2-3 points, and then you get this huge drop. I hate that I don't know why I didn't look at that or wasn't paying attention to that unless I was paused or muted away from the computer. I don't remember. But the struggle's real here. It seems like around this 50 now. You talking about what down, if it takes out this one down here? Or are you talking about up here? Like when I was talking about this? If you're talking about this, I was thinking, we might get a leg up here and maybe try to do something like that for the bounce up before the next leg down. And I mean, I would probably put mine at the wick more often than not. When I see this happen during the day so often, they never go to the body. They only usually go to the wick. So, but it looks like we might get this breakdown here. They might want to extend this inverse W. They take out 36, 35, 36. We'll see. Too much stuff on my chart. So I'm going to take this box off. Okay, yeah, I recognize Ricky Roo. Oh, yeah. Up here, this one. Yeah, I don't know if I was sitting here when we was up here. I don't know if I walked away, but it's easy. It's always easy to look back to the left of the chart, of course, when things happen. But this is in line with the trade I was talking about, where after we get through the craziness of the open of the market, like later in the morning, you get these drives up. I wait for the first red candle to close, and then if we get the crossover down here on the kill zone and it closes, even though this is an early indicator of a reversal, you know, it's not necessarily a buy signal, but I've went back and looked through, back testing this setup through the charts, through, you know, during this session, overnight session, watching how this reacts, and buy as soon as that candle closes, and either use it as a scalp trade and scalp out. Like you could scalp out on this first red candle, or you could let something breathe and then you catch this leg down. It's just something I've been probably taking that trade. I've taken that trade quite a bit over the last 2 weeks now. I hadn't been journaling it or anything like that, but I've been taking it, and a lot of times, even if they go against you, a lot of times you can scalp for 5 points before you get hit. Sometimes not so much, but I mean, same thing happened back here. We got in here into this consolidation up above 80. It put this red candle in right here, 124, but then it goes up to 140. These are the ones you kind of got to watch out for, but then it closes and this opens up and back down. So it just depends on risk management and how you're handling your stops. See, it had that big wick out right here, so it probably would have stopped me out. As soon as I go into the green, usually on a trade like this, I try to move my stop right there to break even, plus a little bit maybe. And so I've got stopped out a lot of these trades too by doing that. And then I get stopped out, and then this happens, and I just let it happen. I don't chase it. So we're back to that level where I said put an order. That's that wick. So yeah, there. I don't trust this right here at all. Let's see, you know, if they can break structure here and then try to tackle back up to that high. I don't see it. I was thinking smaller leg up for a right shoulder. People missing out on the action. Missing out on the action. I'm not, I wouldn't say you're reading into them too much. It's something that I don't pay that close attention to on the 1 minute. As low as I usually go is the 5 minute. But I could see why you are probably paying attention to it though, because it seems, especially on a trending day, that they don't want to leave a whole lot of that on chart. If you ever notice it on the 1 minute, they always seems like they always come back and either wick out where them wicks will cross over, or they do something, you know. So I wouldn't say you're reading too much into it. I wouldn't build too much of a trade plan around just a 1 minute though, or a fair value gap. Not without a lot of other confluence with it. Look at you, almost to the green with that thing already. I knew you was gonna do it. And 1 minute might be one of them things that's real good for scalping, you know, the 1 minute fair value gap thing. As long as you're like in sync with the market and not trying to counter trend it or something, I can see how that could be beneficial scalping for sure. Yeah, I heard that. It's a real blow to the stomach whenever you working hard to either get an account out of the red and get it back green, to just get in one bad trade and give it all back. I know that's happened to me more often than I'd like to admit to. Sometimes I have one account down $900,000, and you know, if you don't know how to step back and reevaluate, walk away, come back, repositioned, you know, it's hard to just keep losing. I mean, it's easy to just keep losing, and but there's been plenty of times I've walked them back, you know, same day, and I'll get them as soon as they go green. I don't care if it's 10 cents. As soon as that thing shows green, I'm done. And then there's some days where I might only get them worked back, you know, within a couple $100. But it makes me feel better to know that I'm not taking a $900 hit, you know, and it's just $200. Seems like it's always easy to wreck an account and always a struggle to try to bring it back. There's a nice little long out of there, though, out of that area down there. Pretty good. 50 points or better. $35 and I'm out. I knew you had it there. Great job. I don't understand why nobody checks the announcements tab or the channels in Discord the right way. Hey Rich, in Discord, can you see the Go Live channel that's in Discord? You can't see the Go Live channel. Well, maybe that's why there's a problem. What in the world? There should be a red dot that says FTE Live. And then under FTE Live, if you click on that, there's a Go Live. Yeah, red dash go dash live. As long as you can see that. I'm just making sure, because some people have messaged me acting like they can't figure out where it's at, and I thought it was visible to everybody. And if you can see it, that means anybody in Discord can see it. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. Well, sorry about that. Trying to message people back. I threw it in the announcements channel that we was going to be doing it and tagged this channel like a week ago. Or last Friday or something. Yeah, that whole messaging thing, chat on here, that's one of the things they say before you go live is there could be some delay between chat messages and when how fast you receive them or something. I didn't realize how long it was though. You don't have permission to message. What? right then. Let me go in there and mess with that. Alrighty. No, you should be able to see. Let me, that's, this, somebody just messaged me back the same thing. What? I don't know. The settings look correct. So, so when you had clicked on that, it wouldn't even let you, it didn't show you any messages at all in there, like where I posted the link to the live stream. I just changed a couple settings again. So it should be able to be seen. Okay, nice. Wow. All in the settings. They only got like 35 or 40 for every channel. Surprised nobody brought that to my attention before now. All good. It's all good. I'm glad that it, thanks for helping me make sure that thing worked. That could be a reason why there hadn't, the people that have been on must have been just going to YouTube or setting notifications there. All right, got that handle. It looks like they can see it as well. What do we got going on here? They're eating up our imbalance zone up there. Slow grinded, took out the high. That looked like they was putting in a right shoulder right here, and they said, nope, we don't think so. Time to look at this on, let's look at this on the 1 hour. Have a look. See what the chart's screaming. So, well, I guess we need to get rid of that line. Wow, that's bullish right there. That is bullish. Had this hard level break right here, huge rejection, and that's bullish. And they took that out. Taking this all out's a big ordeal right now for us to try to get back to looking better on the chart. Question is, are we going to tag this one up here and get the rejection out of that zone, or are they going to keep pushing? I mean, could you imagine if they try to push this all the way back up into the 400s? Hey, they could do it too. They could do it. But look at all this right here. Nasty looking. Nasty, nasty. So, you know, that 4 hour zone right up there, that might be a different story. Yeah. May not do it today, but if they can hold price, it's all about holding price. If they can drive us up, we know we don't need no more of this back here. No more death candles testing these lows here. Yeah. Let's hop over the 15-minute and see what that says. Rich, did say when you come back, was you able to see the actual link posted inside that channel, or just the channel? Okay, great. All right. Now I'm going to stay off Discord for a minute. You think the hourly chart, the red trend line, you think it's heading up there? Really? Nah. Nah, come on now. It might. It sure is making a push today. Before I think about that trend line, I'm going to have to see him take his 4-hour zone out right here, though. If it does get to the trend line, are you going to short it today? If it got up there? Full port? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so still chopping away at that imbalance zone. This box here is from 98 to 208, or 209. So if they keep grinding, we might be able to think bounce plays out of the 50 EMA area, maybe. Let me get back down here. What happened to my trend line? I must have deleted it. All right. We're going to get rid of our neckline for now, because that's kind of off the table. Well, the questionable thing, yeah, the way it's moving now, it's pretty early. I mean, what if we keep grinding though, and we get up and bust this zone right here, and we get up here and consolidate? I could see a push like that, maybe, if that's what they want to do, especially getting in the power hour. You know how wild this thing can get. But yeah, if it keeps moving at that pace right there, yeah, I don't know about that. ATR is like 13, 14. And it's moving about like gold, so ATR must really be like 1 or 2 right now. Yeah, this is slow moving right here. This is about where it gets to the point where I'll be done for a day, or for now anyway. Maybe come back later in the day if it picks up a little bit. Could stall out up here and start making a move down. It's like they can't find any more buyers. Nice. Yeah, I was sitting here thinking the same thing. It's about time for me to be prepping some eats too for lunch. I'm liable to fall asleep sitting here watching this. Give this thing a little time. Figure out what it wants to do. Maybe later in the day it'll make a decision. See, we got, this could still be a head and shoulder type ordeal, and this is just a dislocated shoulder. Yeah, dislocated shoulder. Yeah, I mean, I think we could. I mean, I think by the end of the day, I mean, there's no telling. We could be, well, let's go look at something real quick. See what kind they put on the 1 hour chart. I mean, that candle ain't closed, but I mean, all right, we can get rid of the opening range. That's right, the dislocated one. I don't know. I mean, look at this imbalance zone we got down here on the 1 hour. So I mean, I don't know if it would be today. We'll just have to see how the rest of the day plays out. But you got to think, you know, we're pulling away from the bullish trend line a good ways. So, you know, let's pull the fibs on this real quick. Have a look. Look at that 50% fib is right at the 50 EMA. That 38.2 is at 855. What was you saying? 25.69? That's way up here. I mean, I could see a pullback down here to the 38.2 or the 50. Maybe not today, but I could see it cooling off a little bit. But that don't mean it's going to. I think the possibility is there, though. So that's imbalance there, the green imbalance, bullish imbalance on the 1 hour. And the bottom of that is 971 or 2. Yeah, they could definitely have the I mean, that's what it's been. It's been grinding. I mean, we got into a little bit of a zone here with this head and shoulder, or this W playing out, and it's still in that, but it's a big zone though. You know, what if they came back down here and touched this imbalance right here and bounce again? I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just being aware of what's possible. You know, what are we not seeing on the chart that could be there? Kind of like me and you was doing earlier when we was tagging our little boxes here and there. It's something that you have to, I got to make a mental note of that every day when I trade. Even though I'm used to marking my charts up and looking for things, I still have to every day remind myself, hey, what am I not looking at or paying attention to? Because more often than not, you know, say this price gets a death candle right now and we end up down here at the bottom of this green box, most people, and then it bounces, say 100 points off the very bottom. A lot of people be like, well, why did that just happen? And why did it stop right there and bounce? You know, I always got to make sure I can try to remember to go back and look at all this stuff throughout the day while I'm intraday trading. That way I kind of know about it ahead of time instead of scratching my head after it happens. And then saying, oh, well, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And it's for every little nuance that there is to do with trading. Whether it be looking at them wicks, them bounces coming back and tagging a wick, you know, like we discussed earlier, or you're dealing with those on the 1 minute time frame, the fair value gaps, the imbalance zones, you know, going back once you're far enough into the day and looking at a 15-minute chart and pulling out, you know, there might be more PEZ zones that you need to put in place. It's a lot, but it's better to do that than to just constantly be clicking a button and not and just trading price action. Now, when we got a lot of momentum and maybe because of news or anything else, then everything marked on the chart really don't matter at that point in time or on that particular day. Not that it might matter the next day, but on days like that, there's some days where none of that matters at all because of a news day or anything going on in the economy or the global situation. I mean, it can all throw off all the drawings, all the PEZs, all the imbalance, every trade idea that you have. Excuse me. Hey, it ain't no problem. I appreciate you being here, Rich. Absolutely. We're going to do it again tomorrow and the day after and the day after. At least that's the plan. Swang. Those are this magic bubbles that I built. No, I'm just kidding. That's the purple's the 9 EMA and the green is the 21. And the pink is the 50. Swang must have been being quiet and just been on the stream. We didn't know it. Hey man, that's what we're doing it for. Well, I was really going to, but then I had to tell the truth. I was gonna make a joke out of it, but just the EMAs. And some days they might be gone because I really never use the EMAs much. Of course, all your buy sell indicator stuff that you can build is built around EMAs. So I'm sorry to hear that. Migraines are not fun. Not at all. I hope you're feeling better. I try to be, hey, appreciate you being here, Rich. I'll see you tomorrow if you get on, or next time you come back, but we'll be at it again. I get on about 15 minutes. I try to do about 15 minutes before the stream goes live at 8:30, but I try to be on by 8:15 to 8:20 already so that we can break down the pre-market prep. I'm not doing no trading right now, and I'm trading a lot less than I usually do now that I'm streaming. But this is an educational thing. There's so much that can be learned trading. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm sure anybody that's spent enough time looking has figured that out. Just here to build a community of traders, and we all help each other out. I've learned a couple things in the last week or so from other people being on here, things that they do that I hadn't really ever thought of. And so now I pay attention to some of the things that I've had them talk about. You can never have too many tools in the toolbox. Sounds good. The weather is nice. It's nice here today, but I think I'm under a tornado watch today and tomorrow, I think. I guess I need to keep my eye out on that. Have fun with those garden chores. I know what that's like. We just ain't got a lot going on. The ATR's just barely staying above 10. Slow grinding. I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here for today. Walk away for a bit, maybe get some lunch. And then I may or may not trade anymore today. I might come back from Power Hour and do a little bit there. But I want to thank everybody who showed up today and spread the word. Let's build this community together and all help each other succeed. I hope y'all stay sharp and stay safe the rest of the trading day. Stay green. Don't chase any trades. Just sit out. You don't have to be in a trade every minute of the day. And if it ain't a trade plan that you put together, just let it be. There's always tomorrow. That's how you stay in the game. Not taking a trade is also considered a winning trade. So I'll be back at it tomorrow morning, same time. And I'll see you guys then.